Well, hey there. This is Kim Constable, also known as the Sculpted Vegan. Welcome to the Strong and Sculpted podcast. Now, this week I have a very special episode for you, which is a little chat that I had with the two recent winners of the Jailhouse Shred competition. Now, many of you will have seen the competitions that we run. We love running challenges and we love to give big cash prizes. And the reason why we give big cash prizes is simply because I understand that sometimes you need something a little more than a hot sculpted bod to keep you motivated. And if you think there's $10,000 or $5,000 dangling at the end of those 4 or 8 weeks, you are gonna just keep pushing and work a little bit harder. Money is a great motivator. I was actually talking to one of my team earlier, Mark, my creative director, and I was saying to him, because we're launching a business program next year, actually, and I said to him, then Mark, then we'll be in the two biggest industries in the world, fat loss and money making. And he was laughing his head off, but it's true. Like, people want fat loss, they want to be shredded, but they also want to make a lot of money. So anyway, I decided that I would have a chat with the two winners of the Jailhouse Shred. It was actually the first time that we have ever done a male and a female competition. Normally you just do one competition and males do enter, but obviously males are usually in the minority. However, this time, because it was a body weight at home program, and because a lot of men were at home during the coronavirus pandemic, and they could get epic results too, I thought, why not just separate the competitions and run a separate one for females and a separate one for males? So instead of offering $10,000 to the winner, I took that $10,000 and I split it, and we gave away $10,000 to the winner. I think it was $3,000 to second place of each. We gave away $5,000 to the male and the female, and then we gave away $3,000 to the second place male and female, and then $1,000 to third place male and female. So it was a really big prize fund, and there were some really epic transformations. But I wanted to have a chat with the two winners. This is something we've never done before, but people, I guess, always ask in the Facebook group, whenever we run these challenges, other contestants, whenever they find out there's a previous winner in the group, they always say to them, what was your secret, or what did you do? Or they always want to know, did this person do something, or do they have like a bit of knowledge, or is there a secret sauce to winning kind of thing? And I thought, well, you know what? Is there a secret sauce to winning? Because I know what I would do to win. And, my thing I always say in the groups, whenever people ask, how to win or whatever, I always say, listen, guys, see, whenever I'm in a competition, I leave nothing to chance. Like, I do extra cardio, extra training, I'm extra vigilant with my food. Like, if I thought there was $10,000 dangling at the end of a challenge, I would leave no stone unturned. I would not half-ass it. I mean, you should see some of the before and afters that we get whenever we run a competition. Some people, I look at them and I go, why did this person even submit this? I don't even know which one is the before and which one is the after. It's crazy. And you can tell the people who have worked really, really, really hard, and you can tell the ones that have maybe put in 50% of the effort. But anyway, the reason why specifically I wanted to talk to the two winners today was because, first of all, Marlon, who was the male winner, he made the most incredible transformation. And so did Courtney, actually. These two were honestly by far the biggest transformations we've ever had in a competition. Marlon lost 30 pounds in weight in 4 weeks, guys. 30 pounds in 4 weeks. And Courtney lost 22 pounds in 4 weeks. But what actually gave me the idea to interview them today was Courtney actually posted in the group whenever she had won. She posted and she said that whenever she did a previous competition, which was one of our 4-week shred competitions, she had done all of the exercise, but she had missed a couple of cardio sessions. And she said she kind of half-assed the nutrition. She thought, no, this is too difficult. I can't really be bothered to follow it. It's going to be too much planning. And she didn't really believe that, that the meal, not that she didn't believe it would work, but she was kind of like, well, I really like fruit and I don't want to give up fruit because there's very little fruit in my shred plans because it's full of fructose, which is converted to fat very easily. Even though it is very healthy, it's not very shred friendly. Don't even talk to me about Fruitgate, which happened a few years ago. But anyway, we won't talk about Fruitgate. Those of you who have followed me for a while will know what Fruitgate is. Those of you who don't, I'll explain in another podcast. But Courtney was saying about how, she had half-assed the nutrition. She hadn't really given it all of her time and attention. And therefore, she just didn't really get the results. Whereas this time she decided that, maybe Kim knows what she's talking about. Maybe, 90% of any transformation is actually the nutrition. And she decided to follow the nutrition 100%. And OMG, you should see her before and afters. If you want to see what she looks like, go to my Instagram @thesculptedvegan Sculpted Vegan, scroll through the feed and you will see both Marlon and Courtney. Their before and afters are literally astounding. 22 pounds she lost. And the only thing that she changed in the Jailhouse Shred competition from the previous 4-week shred she had done was that she followed the nutrition to the letter. So I thought to myself, this is really, really, really important information because I'm always banging on about the nutrition. Everybody thinks if they just do the cardio and they just do the training, they're going to get the results. It's not true. You need to follow the nutrition. And Marlon tells some really funny stories in this podcast about how he stuffed his nose with toilet paper whenever he was going to the supermarket so he wouldn't smell the breads and all of the delicious foods, and about how he got up at he set 3 alarms, one at 4:15 a.m., one at 4:45 a.m., one at 4:50 a.m. So he would get up and run 5 miles in the morning. And let me tell you something, running is not in the Jailhouse Shred. It's all slow, steady cardio. But he went the extra mile at every single turn, doing double workouts some days, doing, extra cardio. Same with Courtney. She did extra everything. And that bit extra that they both gave is why they are winners. So if you are currently in the 8-week butt camp or considering entering the 8-week butt camp, so this is a new challenge that we're running. It starts on, June 22nd. Which is Monday for those of you who are listening to it this week. So June 22nd, 2020. If you're listening to this podcast another time, sorry you missed it. But the 8-week butt camp is a shred competition which focuses on building muscle in the glutes. It's a full body 6-day training with all of the focus on the glutes. Can be done from home or in the gym. It's based on the principle of metabolic stress on the muscle rather than mechanical stress, which is what happens in the gym. That's why we can hit the muscle group 6 days a week and really make a big difference in the butt. So if you want to join that competition, just go to our website, thesculptedvegan.com. You'll see it there. It's only $97 and we have a $10,000 first prize, $3,000 second prize, $1,000 third prize, $500 fourth prize, and $250 fifth prize. There's no male and female competition in this one because really, what man wants to grow a nice ass? Men just want bigger arms and chest. So, but men are very welcome to enter as well. If you're a man and you want a really nice ass and you want to enter, go for it. So anyway, if you want to join the butt camp, go to the website, thesculptedvegan.com. And if you're in the butt camp or you're considering joining for only $97, you gotta listen to these interviews because these 2 winners are going to tell you the secret sauce on how to win. And you're gonna absolutely love what they have to say. So let's head on over to the interview now and I will talk to you again at the end. Hey Marlon, how are you?
Hi, Kim. I'm well. How are you?
Hey, Courtney. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's fantastic. But here, listen, Marlon, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. If you don't mind sharing your age, where are you in the world? What age are you? Do you have any kids? Just kind of who is Marlon? Give us the background.
Okay. Well, Marlon Taylor. I'm 35 years old. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I've been living in Houston for the last 3 years. Moved here after Harvey in 2017 after working with FEMA for relief for Rockport, Texas, which was ground zero for Hurricane Harvey. Wow. So made the decision to move with my wife and we bought our first home. Now we're in our second, about to move into our third home, which is something that's difficult to obtain in Los Angeles because of the market. And I'm married. I have a son. His name is Elias. He's beautiful, 8 months. And I'm just loving life right now. It's beautiful.
So what age are you, Courtney? Where do you live in the world? What do you work as? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. Yeah. I live in I'm a little bit back and forth. I live San Bernardino Mountains. So I actually work in LA. So I commute. So Los Angeles, California. I'm 22 years old. So I know I'm a little bit young. And yeah, just getting married, come from a all-girl family, 4 kids.
Where are you? What number are you?
I'm number 2.
You're number 2. The last time I spoke to you was whenever I was telling you that you had won the female competition in the Jailhouse Shred, where you won $5,000.
I know, it was awesome.
Have you put it? You put it towards your wedding, did you? Have you saved it or have you spent any of it?
I've spent a little bit of it. I think definitely during this whole pandemic, it was a great cushion to have that was unexpected, but definitely with all the things I'm sure are going to come with the wedding and everything.
So out of 65 men who actually entered the competition, you came out on top with the biggest transformation and walked away with the top prize of $5,000. How did that feel?
Well, it felt great because I entered the competition, wanted to do something extreme because I wasn't happy with where my weight, and my wife, she brings by, she shows me you, and I'm all like, oh, that girl is cut. And I was all like, I need to get on this Jailhouse Shred.
Being an athlete who competes on stage, I know how difficult it is to make the transformation that you made. And I know that there's many other people, actually it's amazing. Some people on Instagram are writing and saying, there's no way this was only 4 weeks. And I was like, well, see the signs that she's holding? We emailed those out on day 1 and it said day 30, it was actually day 28. There's no way it couldn't have, that's why we get them to hold the signs. But I said, and then I said to my team, I said, well, your program's working while people are disbelieving the results.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, definitely. I know. I myself, when I saw, because I didn't take, I only took one in between photo. So I wanted it to be a surprise for myself as well. So I was a little bit in disbelief of my own results. I was like, oh, because when you look at yourself in the mirror, a lot of the times you don't see it and you're like, oh, I'm not getting any results. And then you put them side by side and you're like, wow.
Isn't it funny how the mirror lies? Like the mirror, you just don't see your own results in the mirror. Sure, it's only when you compare them side by side with pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
30 pounds in 4 weeks. I mean, that is epic. So people listening to this are going to be going, I need details. So come on, don't hold out on us. Give us the details.
Okay. So day 1, I said, all right, Marlon, you're going to get your ass up out of this bed and you're going to roll out whatever you got to do. We're waking up at 4:45. So my alarm clock system is crazy, right?
4:45 a.m.?
Well, I have like about 3 alarms to wake me up for the real alarm. So it's 4:15, 4:45, and 4:50, right? And then by then, all right, rolling out of the bed because I took a shower the night before. I got my running clothes right by the side of the bed. I'm getting out of the bed, and we're going to go ahead and just do a quick little warm up, run in place, and you're going to get your ass to it. And you're going to jog a mile, you're going to walk a mile, you're going to jog walk, and then you're going to run until you can't no more. You're going to run about a 500-yard dash, and then you're going to just give it all that you can. So sometimes the miles would be 3.5 to 5, but never anything less than 5. Never anything less than 5.
How many days?
Every single day, except
every
for the
single
last
day.
Week. I have shin splints, so the last week was the only day that I didn't.
And did you find that the Jailhouse Shred appealing because it was all done at home?
Yeah. It was nice because I didn't have to go. It's muscle heads in the gym sometime, and no knock to them, but it's like they still all the weights. I don't know if you have the problem back home for you, but like they have a circle of weights. And they're just looking at each other, at themselves in the mirror. Nothing's wrong with that. You got to get your pump. But this was easier. It gave me the confidence to now, I could be a musclehead in the gym and get my pumps and look at myself in the mirror.
Yes, exactly. 100%. But you know what I would love to know? Like, what challenges did you have that made you want to buy the program? I mean, what was it that you had wanted to change in yourself or for yourself that even caused you to take part in the first place?
Okay. So I had some health issues, and with Elias being so young and me being out of shape already, it's kind of like, okay, I need to do something fast. I need to do all that I can do so that my body doesn't have to work as hard. I don't want it to be trying to deal with my fat or my weight and the health situation that I have. So I'm a pretty extreme guy. If I commit to something, I'm going to jump into it and I'm going to do it all the way. No matter the struggles. But the food, cutting out some of the food, that was pretty difficult for me as well because, I haven't eaten meat in over, 5 years now. But, you can eat dirty still. And I mean, I was carb heavy, syrup heavy, ketchup heavy. And I had to change it. And I wanted that change and I still want the change. I'm not where I want to be. And that's one of the things that I was truly amazed about when I found out that I won, because I'm looking at everybody else's body and I'm cheering them on. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to be great. That's good for them. And then next thing you know, voila,
real issue started right after the holidays. And that's when you released your first program, which was the 4-week shred. And so at that point in my life, I really needed it. And I was super motivated, and I went ahead and got that program. And it didn't end up working out how I wanted it to. So I think just naturally, I went back into my old ways of eating and lifestyle, and just the weight came on again. And this whole pandemic happened. And, like I said, I partially lost my income, my work, and just so many things in my life were changing, and I felt a little bit out of control. And I just needed something to focus on, something to put my motivation towards, because otherwise I knew that I would just go down the rabbit hole of a lot of nothing and a lot of snacking, which is something that I'm very self-aware about myself. So, you release the program, and I was like, she's reading my mind. And I decided to join it. And this time give it obviously everything I had, because last time I hadn't done that. And so, yeah, it just really worked out for me. Perfect timing.
You bought the 4-week shred that we released in January post holidays, yeah. And so I really want to dive deeper into that, because I've just remembered, actually, that's one of the juiciest reasons I wanted to get you on here, was that it's one of the things, like, how many times do you hear me preach? It's the nutrition, the nutrition, the nutrition. People will say, I'm really disappointed with the results, because I've been doing all the cardio and I've been going to the gym 4 days a week or 5 days a week, and I just am not seeing the results. And then I go, how's your nutrition? And they go, yeah, it's good. Like I'm there kind of 90% of the time. If someone tells you they have their nutrition dialed in 90% of the time, it's usually 50 or 60% of the time. People always overestimate how well they're doing with nutrition. Always. If someone says 90%, for me, I go, okay, it's 50%, which means, or it could even be, you know what, actually, I haven't nailed the nutrition at all and I'm deluding myself. So what I want to know is, you said something in one of the groups, I think it was, you showed you talked about your before and after journey from the 4-week shred you did in January, and then this one now. And you didn't get great results from doing the 4-week shred in January, but you did get epic results this time. Tell us what changed for you. What did you do in January that you didn't do, or sorry, what didn't you do in January that you did now, or what was it that was different?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first time around, like you said, I think, you kind of think you can outsmart the system. You read the meal plan and you're like, okay, this is a little
restrictive.
A little restrictive. I'm sure
repetitive, boring.
And but hey, it works. So, so I thought, okay, I can add in a couple calories here and there, a little bit more tofu, a little bit more rice. That was a big thing, I think.
So you did follow the meal plan. Sorry to interrupt you. So in the 4-week shred, you did follow the meal plan. You just added in extras, or was it you kind of just followed it loosely?
I think I started with the meal plan the first week, and then I think I got sick of it. And I think I remember listening to one of your podcasts, and you were talking about, it's boring, but that's what you got to do to get the results. And I was like, okay, I can add in, I can change it up. I'm just gonna do a lot of vegetables and fruit, thinking that super healthy. And I didn't get the results. And I'm like, Kim's right. I don't think mentally I was as involved with that first challenge.
Yes.
It really came down to this second challenge. I was like, okay, you're not going to fail twice at this. Give it your all. Listen to her. You have the time to do so, because I wasn't working. Follow the nutrition. Just, at least see what that'll do for your body, and do the cardio as much as you don't want to. And it just really worked out for me.
So I think amazing.
Mentally, the change between the first and the second was just mentally digging deeper and really pushing myself to follow everything to the letter. Yeah.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, because what happens is, well, two things that happen. People see the meal plan, like you said, and they go, well, I'm gonna eat a little healthier, and they just don't really understand how important calorie tracking is. And I try and say to people, when you want to get down to, like, as a bodybuilder, when you want to get down to single digit body fat percentages, there is no room for error. You have to be dialed in. And I said to my husband and I were driving the other day, we're going to the gym, and or the other week, I think it was. And I said to him, I said, oh, I've started using the vegan. I said, the vegan Wonder Shake's amazing, isn't it? This new protein powder we started using from the Protein Works. And he goes, yeah, it is. Like, it's absolutely superb. And I said, it's much lower in calories too than the other one. And he said, well, how much? And I said, there's only 83 calories per scoop, which means that, you're only getting 166 calories in 2 scoops, which is what we take. I said, as opposed to the other one where there was 111 calories or there's 115 calories. So I was rhyming off the calories. So I was like, so it's 220 calories per scoop or 160 calories per scoop. And he goes, well, that's only 40 calories. And I went, I mean, only 40 calories? I said, I'm having 2 shakes a day. That's 80 calories a day. I said, let me tell you, when you're down to 1,300 calories, those 80 calories matter. And he was laughing and he was, I was like, but this is the precision with which you have to dial in your nutrition if you really want to get results. And I loved it when you said that you were like, okay, this time you were determined that you were just going to make it work. Because I think that we go into something going, half-assing it, but expecting a different result. And then we're disappointed. And I love that you didn't blame the program. You weren't, this program doesn't work for me. You were like, you know what, half-assed it, didn't really give it, my full, my full effort. And that's why the results weren't as good.
Yeah, totally. And I think especially, it is hard to believe, like the first time that I signed up for your first one, the 4-week thing, you're like, I've never seen results in my entire life in 4 weeks. There's absolutely no way that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think people understand how hard they're working in these programs.
Yes.
You are working 10 times harder than you've ever worked in your life. So
yeah,
the results come. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, most people just underestimate what it actually takes to get shredded. They don't realize that. Before we step on stage, that's why I create the programs that I create, right? I create programs because I am an athlete. I'm a competitive bodybuilder. So I was like, why should there be one program for competitive bodybuilders and one program for the general public? Why should there be? Because, people are like elitist. Oh, well, I'm a bodybuilder, so therefore I have the strength and the experience to be able to do all this training. I'm like, no, there's many people out there in the general public who are badasses that they just don't know it. So let's just give them insanely hard programs that bodybuilders do and just offer them to regular people. And by regular, I don't mean like normal or boring or less than in any way. I just mean people who aren't competitive bodybuilders, So, but whenever you have a program, most people just don't understand what it takes to actually get results. They don't understand how hard we have to work to stand on stage. And that's why there's so few people stand on stage, because to get there, to go through the deprivation and the cardio and the training and the discipline that you have to go through in that prep to get down to those low percentages of body fats to stand on stage, very few people can do it. They just don't have the strength and the willpower to do it. But if you do, like you did for the Jailhouse Shred, even though it was only 4 weeks, it wasn't like 20 weeks or whatever, to dig deep and find that mental strength, that's really what makes the difference. To decide you're going to do it and not let yourself off the hook. And it sounds like that's what happened this time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think just holding myself accountable. And, you so often have that little voice in your head that tells you, well, you still have 3 more weeks. If you skip cardio today, you still have 3 more weeks. But I'm like, you know what I do today is definitely going to translate into my final photo. So I just forced myself to do it. And honestly, and it definitely got easier towards the end. It's true. You make a habit out of it and your body starts to crave it. And, I think the first couple weeks were super hard, being around the whole family, eating amazingly delicious food I would have loved to indulge in. But just the, prize, I guess, essentially that comes with this whole challenge was just so much more worth, pushing through it. So
now, as far as in the grocery shopping, that was the hardest part because, even though I don't eat meat, some of the stuff that smells good that they cook inside of the store automatically, I'm all like, oh, that smells so good. So I
never go
away.
Shopping hungry. That is the rule. Never go shopping hungry.
Never. Even plugged my nose a couple of times with tissue. I'm so serious. And it was the most intense grocery shopping. It was crazy. It's like,
I love your strategy.
Stay focused. What are you getting? What is it that you need? Go to the canned section, get your chickpeas, go over to the vegetable section and go get your broccoli. Go ahead and get your, cauliflower and get your spinach and get out. Do not talk. Do not smell anything. Do not touch anything if it's not on the list. and get out. And that was
You're making me laugh so much.
oh
I can just imagine you. But it takes that, doesn't it? Like a lot of people ask me and they say, oh, but how do you stop yourself from snacking and how so whatever? And I'm like, I don't know, bitch. You just need to like shut your eyes, block your nose, just do whatever it takes. Like I used to go into Starbucks whenever I was dieting and I would have gone in to get a coffee. Like I remember my parents-in-law were overstaying from Australia and I was competing in April and I was really, really, really low body fat. And this was just before my show. We would go shopping with the kids. I was starving permanently. We would go into Starbucks and I would look at like the vegan brownies and the vegan cakes and I would go, I'm going to get one. 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 Then, you're not. And I would get up to the counter and I would go, I'm going to get one. Definitely. I can't have, no, it won't do any harm. No, Kim, it will. And then I had this whole internal battle with my head and I get there and I go, can I have an oat milk flat white, please? And I just like shut my mouth to stop myself saying, I'm vegan brownies. And then it was almost like, then you handed over your card and then you paid and it was like watching everything in slow motion. And then once the transaction was made, it was like, okay, I can't have one now. Now I just need to get through this next moment of waiting for my coffee, and having my coffee and then drinking my coffee and hoping that takes away the sweet craving. And once I've left here, I won't feel it anymore. It's moment to moment, isn't it? Just getting past the cravings.
Yes, it is. It's challenging. But my grandmother used to always tell me, behave yourself, show some self-discipline. And, those are things that like, you don't hear too much nowadays anymore. It's kind of like overindulgence, do what you want. You're free to do whatever you want, but that self-control, that self-discipline and behaving yourself, that's what you need when it comes down to this stuff, or else you won't get anywhere. You'll just, if it's a competition, you'll waste your money. If you have a trainer, you'll waste their time and your time, more so your own time and money. But, it's just simple principles to follow.
And discipline, I like to say to people, isn't something that you're born with. It's not something that I have naturally inside me. Discipline is making decisions moment to moment to not indulge something, and like quite often whenever I'm dieting and I'm craving something, I go to myself, okay, I'll just have one bite of something and I allow myself one bite, or I'll say to myself, I'm not going to have that, but if I still want it in 10 minutes, I will allow myself one bit of it. It's like constantly negotiating and bargaining with yourself. And you're, like you in the morning with the run saying, okay, 4:45, 4:50, right? The alarm has gone off 4:50. And then I'll say, what, if I've ever done that, I'll say to myself, I'm not going to run today. I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to walk, and I'm just going to walk slowly, and I'm going to enjoy the morning. I'm going to enjoy the fact that I'm moving. And if I still feel tired when I get back, I'll go back to bed. And then you go, okay, I'll get out of bed for that. And it's almost like your little inner child goes, okay, I'll get out of bed for that. And then once you're out walking, suddenly you're like, oh, here, man, I feel so great. Let's start running. And then you start running, and then it's just getting past that moment to moment to moment, isn't it? To develop the discipline to get past the next moment.
Oh, yes. And I have to be honest, living in Houston, you have to take advantage of the time to wake up while it's cool. I mean, and by cool, I mean, it's just about, summertime now, but during it was spring. So 84 degrees in the morning at 5 a.m.
Wow.
So I have to knock this out or else I'm going to suffer. And I like to dress heavy. I love to sweat. I feel so accomplished when I get that sludge sweat on, so
me too.
I'm out there 84 degrees. I had to start wearing my running shorts, but full sweats, the thickest sweats that you can wear while you're running, staying hydrated, getting out there and just running. Oh, and drinking a gallon a day. That was one of the hardest things to do. Even now I'm struggling with doing it. I'm at half a gallon a day, but I mean, when you do that, that keeps you full as well. You're less likely to snack, and an air fryer is good too, because you can just air fry those vegetables and have you some potato chips a little bit, out of your broccoli chips, string bean chips, carrot.
Exactly. There's loads of ways to figure out ways to make things that, to make substitutes. Quite often what I do as well is I get like a salted caramel protein powder, and I'll blend it really thick with some ice and almost being like an ice cream. So I'll put it in my Vitamix, and I'll put in, 2 scoops of protein powder with just a little bit of water and some ice, and I blend it up really, really thick. So then it's almost like you're eating salted caramel ice cream, but you're eating your evening, protein works, protein powder, and it's a way to trick yourself into believing that you're eating a sweet dessert. There's loads of ways to substitute things, I guess.
You're going to have to tell me what type of protein that is right there, because that sounds great. Salted
It's
caramel.
amazing. Marlon, I'm going to send you a box. Okay. I'm going to get Courtney, my assistant, to message you afterwards. And I'm going to send you a box of the salted caramel protein works. Oh my God. It is unbelievable. It's their new Wonder Shake, and it is so smooth and so delicious. And actually, we have a code. The Protein Works have given us a special code, which is 𝐋𝐈50, KIM50, and it's valid from the 11th of June to the. You don't need to write it down. Well, you can, because you can get whatever other stuff you want. But I'm going to send you a box of protein as a gift. But 𝐋𝐈50, it's valid from the 11th of June 2020 to the 22nd of June 2020. So for, I think maybe it runs for 2 weeks. It might run a few days after that. But so 𝐋𝐈50, they've given all of my followers and all of our members 50% off site wide for the full 10 days. But that protein is the absolute best. It's the Wonder Shake salted caramel. For anyone who's listening and you want to go and pick some up, you can use the code 𝐋𝐈50 and get 50% off site wide, which is amazing. And the site is The Protein Works. But if you go to my website, actually, we have a thing on there too. You can find it. Okay, so here's what I want to ask, right? So you must have had a vision of how the program would work for you, like what you would have at the end of the program. What is it that you wanted to achieve? Did you have a goal in mind?
I wanted to be able to kickstart how I'm choosing to live my life. I said, I'm going to use it. I'm going to believe in it, and I'm going to just work hard. I needed a change, Kim. Like literally, I was dying in a sense. My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been, especially for being a father. Our stomach is attached to our mind. I heard it's the second brain. And when you actually could see how big your second brain is, every single day is protruding through, your uniform. My wife, she's in shape. She's always, working out. She just had the baby and everything. And she cut that baby weight. Just like that. Awesome. And I'm all like, okay, if she could do that and her body went through way more than I can ever experience, I need to, come on, guy, get it together. Talk about how you feel. I write down how I felt about it. I write a lot of stuff. I believe that the mental health is everything. So, you got to talk about what it is that you want, and you got to plan it out.
How has the program changed you physically, emotionally, or mentally? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Definitely confidence. I mean, I think anytime you have people coming up to you and being like, oh my gosh, what did you do? And I'm a huge fan of your private Facebook group, because everybody in there is so incredibly sweet. I would go on every single day and have a new comment of somebody being like, usually you would think there'd be a little bit of like
competitive jealousy,
or blah, 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 but everybody was so sweet. Like, you go, girl, you look great. And so that was definitely a confident booster for me. And, I think just knowing that I was able to accomplish it, and now I'm never going to be able to have any excuses again, because it's like, Courtney, look, you did it once, you can do it again, you can keep it up, so it was empowering for sure.
That is wonderful. How important was the support in the private Facebook group? I love that you brought it up, because whenever I started this company, I said I had been in so many unsupportive Facebook groups. Are you vegan?
I wasn't prior to this, but I am now vegan. So
oh, wow.
With it. Yeah. Your program was the reason that I decided to become vegan. I had just watched The Game Changers, and I was like, I need to find a vegan inspiration, somebody who looks how one day I'd love to look, you know what I mean? So, and you hear vegan and you think, well, that doesn't exist in a beautifully toned bodybuilder. And then I saw you and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I can do it. If I have the, potential to still be strong, and, all those things that you think until you really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, through this program, I've definitely transitioned into a vegan diet.
Physically, well, I don't know if I can say that. You can edit it, but
you can say anything you want. There's the no holds barred. Yeah, your libido shoots up, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, man, we're doing 3 a day, 2 a days. It's kind of crazy. It's
I'm
wow.
Jealous. 3 a day, 2 a day. I thought we were doing it once a day. I thought we were doing well.
She's all like, what are you doing? Like,
your testosterone is shot through the roof.
Like, Have you ever seen American Psycho?
No, I haven't seen that movie. I've heard about it though.
Yeah, Christian Bale, he has this scene where he's with a lady and he's not even paying attention. He's looking at himself in the mirror, and it's kind of So like, oh yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. But that, I mean, that is one of the best benefits ever, you know, and like I said, there's no holds barred in this podcast. Not like I don't want to start dissecting your sex life here or anything, but it is true. You know, like my husband and I would say it all the time, like we have a very healthy, you know, very healthy marriage. But a lot of it is to do with the fact that we're both fit, we're both healthy, we're both energetic. Ryan trains a lot. You know, there's nothing wrong with his testosterone levels, even though he's 50 next year. You know, certainly, you know, neither of us have any issues taking our clothes off. I think that so many times, you know, our health, how we feel about ourselves, our hormones, how we feel about our body, and it does affect our, you know, how you feel about yourself affects every area of your life. And when you're like, oh, look at me, and you feel so good about yourself, not even like look at me, but you feel so good about yourself, that just comes out. It just shines through in every area. And if you're married or in a relationship, well, definitely sex is one of those areas that really does benefit from this kind of work, and cue the rush to sign up for Kim's bodybuilding programs. The men will be buying these programs for their wives. I signed you up to a wee bodybuilding program. There you start Monday.
You're gonna see a whole bunch of guys sign up for the booty boot camp,
and then they're buying them for their wives as well. This will make you feel really good about yourself, sweetheart.
Exactly.
How motivating was the money for you?
Definitely, it was motivating. I gotta say,
that's why I offer big cash prizes, because I'm like, you need something a wee bit extra to keep you going.
It's so true. I mean, even now, like, it's when you have those short-term goals in something that it's like, even if there's even a slight chance, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, definitely, I think having a motivator absolutely contributed to my success for sure.
Tell me, what did you think when you saw the lineup of the other contestants? Like, you must have known you were in with a pretty good chance of winning, or were you still feeling a little not confident at that stage?
I don't know. I've always struggled with confidence. So I think for me, I saw abs and I saw just some toned bodies, and I was like, man, these girls worked hard. So I definitely was like, oh, I have this in the bag. I was like, oh, no idea. But, you know, I was excited. I definitely thought I was proud of myself. I will say that I was.
You and your wife did the program together, isn't that right? She did it as well, but she didn't make the final, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I know you're like, oh. Did you train together, or did you do it separately? Was there any competitiveness?
Oh, competition with myself always. Even if I'm playing the sport, it's me beating me so I can win. And unfortunately, when I do that, you're going to lose. You know, if I'm playing basketball, even if I lose, I win because I gave it my all. But yeah, there was definitely, me and my wife were very competitive. She actually got me into running, period. 2017, before we moved out here, I did a half marathon, which was my first, and she did a full, which was her 10th or something like that. And, you know, she trained me into getting into running shape, which, oh my gosh, that is just terrible. Have you ever run a marathon, Kel?
No, I have not, and I do never, ever intend to. I can imagine. Listen, I used to run years ago, and I think the longest I ever ran was, I think about 13 miles. That was the longest run I ever did, and it nearly fucking killed me.
Yes.
So I was like, how does anyone do this twice?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, she's trying to get me to run a full, but I mean, they'll be packed up and gone by the time I'll finish that. So.
I just like to lift heavy stuff. It's funny because we have a PT comes for the kids. A personal trainer comes on a Monday and a Friday, and he, at the minute, obviously they're doing it in the garden. They do PT sessions, and he does all kinds of HIIT training with them, and weights and dumbbells and this kind of stuff. And on a Friday, sometimes my husband and I'll join in, and just, you know, with the kids, because they enjoy us joining in. So we'll join in and do it. And I bitch and whinge the entire time. And honestly, Ryan always goes to me, like, seriously? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to do my knees or the muscles. It's ruining these leggings. And he's like, seriously, I've never heard anyone bitch. I'm like, I just lift heavy stuff. I'm really good at lifting heavy stuff. I don't do all this. I am so bad with stuff like that. I detest HIIT. I detest running. I just like to lift heavy stuff and walk on the Stairmaster, or just walk outside. That's all I like to do. Although it seems like I like to work really, really hard, there's limits to my hard work, and that's running a marathon is definitely not something I would ever do. So I don't know, if you have shin splints, it might not be a good idea for you though. But you definitely, you sound motivated enough to do it anyway.
Oh yeah, I KT heck out of my leg. I tape it up as much as I can, and I wear braces and whatever I can do. I have to stay active. And a lot of the sports that I used to play, that I still enjoy playing, it requires you to get out there and run. So if I'm getting out there and I'm competing against other people, which now I can do too, that's the thing. Me being out of shape, it kept me away from doing things that brought me so much joy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So again, like, these are the added benefits from following your plan and going the extra mile.
Have you kept on the fitness since you finished the program?
Yeah, I right after I started another round of it.
Wow.
Now that you have your new butt program coming out, I'm like, Kim's in my head. She knows when I need something else.
So I know this is something that people are crying out for, simply because people are like, I need the butt camp. You know, people are like, what do you do for glutes? How do you get rid of cellulite? You know, between how do I plan my macros, or how do I plan my food? What do you eat as a vegan? And how do I get rid of cellulite? Those are two of the most commonly asked questions that I get asked. So I was like, okay, I need to educate people on cellulite, and I need to create a really great glute program, because I sculpted my glutes from, a tiny little thing to, whatever. I know what it takes to build big glutes, and because this program is so glute focused, like it's 6 days of glute training. You're hitting that muscle hard every single day, but not so hard that you're annihilating it, that you're going to be so sore you can't move the next day. Hard enough to cause metabolic damage, in the muscle, and really cause them to grow. So it is and it's a shred as well. Completely new meal plans. I created 8 new meal plans, putting out 5 fingers. I created 8 new meal plans, completely, entirely different meal plans. There's no two the same. So it's not like you choose one and you do it for 2 weeks. 8 different meal plans. Let me ask you a question. Did you look at some of the other guys, and think, oh my God, I'm never going to beat him. I'm never going to win. He's totally got it. Or what were your thoughts when you saw the lineup?
Well, when I saw the lineup, I thought to myself, there's no way this guy is already in shape, and he's just more polished, And this guy over here, the second place runner up, I was like, man, he really got his abs going in right there. And I'm all like, I still got a little bit of a keg, but I mean, I know that I worked hard and I dropped weight. I mean, I came into your program weighing 230 pounds, and I got all the way to 212.
Wow, that is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I overdid your workouts. I would do 2 a days, and I would also add 3 to 5 miles of jogging too, because more than winning, I just wanted to be better.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, I really want to dig into that, because I love that, because you know why? I am that kind of person as well. I'm like, if I'm going to do something, if it tells me to do 2 hours cardio a day, I'm going to do 3. If it tells me to eat 1,200 calories, I'm going to eat 1,100 calories. I am the kind of person, I think, well, if this is going to be the bare minimum that I'm going to do, I'm going to really go for it. I mean, and your results were reflective of that, because one of the things that we always say in the rules for the program is, we don't necessarily look for the person who is the most ripped. We look for the person who has made the biggest transformation. And we know as judges, all the judges are competitive bodybuilders, and they are all highly acclaimed judges. They travel the world judging bodybuilding shows. And so they know how hard it is to lose body fat, and they know how hard it is to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. And truly, when they saw you, they were unanimous. They said, we know how hard this guy has worked to make this much of a transformation, because men carry their weight around their middle at the back. They would have a love handles at the back. And you literally just disappeared around the middle, and we know how hard that is to do. So we knew how hard you'd worked, and that's why everybody had voted you as the biggest transformation. But I love that. So tell us a little bit more about that, because we have the butt camp program just starting now, or the butt camp competition is starting on the 22nd of June. It's a $10,000 first prize. It's also a shred, but a build your booty. And I guess that I always love to give contestants or people who are competing in it advice on what to do. So I would love to dig a little bit deeper into that with you. What made you decide to do 2 workouts a day, to run, the extra miles, to do the extra work? What drove you on?
Well, part of it was I used to play sports just in high school and a little bit in JC, but it's the work that you do outside of the workouts that are there that'll go ahead and get you to where you want to be in life. It's the same thing with studying. It's the same thing with whatever job that you have. That's my philosophy, at least. I borrowed it from Kobe Bryant. But, you if you want the results, you got to work hard for it. And when you cheat yourself, you're only hurting yourself. I could not afford to cheat myself, especially with what the doctors were telling me about my health. So, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, along with, they thought I had cancer too. So, I was just like, I don't want to go out. Luckily, I do not have cancer. So that changed. The doctor was telling me about gastritis and all of these different health issues. And I'm all like, man, he said, the source is what you put in your body and how much of it you put in your body. You need to do something. And it caused me to act. But if I could give any advice to anybody about any type of workout advice, it's just go extra, do the little bit of extra you can do while you have the strength to do it. Just go ahead and do it, because you won't always have that strength.
Well, how much did you love those two? Weren't they just amazing? Like, Marlon and I had the funniest time on that interview. At one point, I actually had tears running down my face. I was laughing so hard about his story about, feeling very adventurous and attractive in the bedroom. It's so funny. That is one of the great side effects of losing loads of body fat. You suddenly look in the mirror and you go, oh, look at me. And Courtney is just so sweet and so young, like in her early 20s, for someone to have that much tenacity and that much, get up and go and being able to stick to a program, with being so young. I was so impressed by her. Like, she just is the most beautiful soul. And I feel so privileged to, have met so many wonderful people through the work that we do in the Sculpted Vegan. And I love running these competitions, and I love being so generous with the prizes. And I don't know, just the whole thing really excites me. It's so wonderful. So listen, guys, don't forget to, if you want to enter the podcast competition, I didn't mention it at the start, but we run a competition every single month where we give away a Sculpted Vegan program to a very lucky person who leaves a review on the podcast. So leave a review on the podcast and then send me a screenshot on Instagram. If you don't send me the screenshot on Instagram, you ain't going to be in with the chance of winning, because it's a 2-part process to win. Leave a review somewhere where you listen to this, and then send me a screenshot of your review, and you could be in with a chance of winning any Sculpted Vegan program, even a butt camp program or a $1,500 Sculpt and Shred. If you ain't in it, you can't win it. And I know it's a cliche, but it's totally true. So guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time on another episode of Strong and Sculpted. Have a wonderful day, no matter where you are in the world. Mwah. Kisses from me. Talk to you soon. Bye.